In today's gospel lesson, we travel with Jesus into foreign territory. He is heading north to the region of Tyre, which is located in modern Lebanon. But Jesus' reputation as a healer has raced ahead of him. A woman enters the house where he is staying and begs him to cast out the demon that is making her daughter sick. This mother boldly reaches out across ethnic, religious, and gender barriers. She, you see, is of Syro-Phoenician origin. Jesus is an Israelite from Galilee. She's a Gentile. It's kind of a nice way of saying pagan or heathen. But Jesus is a Jew, a member of God's chosen people. She is a woman, and he is a man, in a society where it is highly inappropriate to speak to a stranger of the opposite gender. In Matthew's version of this incident, the disciples are highly offended by the pleas of this heathen mother on behalf of her demon-possessed child. They urge Jesus to send her away. Jesus, however, is irritated with his disciples' bigoted attitudes, even as he is impressed by the woman's daring. Jesus gives her a chance to expose the depths of her courage and faith and teaches his disciples a lesson about judging a person based on ethnicity, religion, or gender. When Jesus speaks to her, he uses the words that his disciples are thinking, but don't have the guts to say out loud. When Jesus says, "It's not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs," he is exposing deeply held prejudices in the minds of his disciples. See, dogs in ancient Israel were despised almost as much as pigs. These could have been fighting words. The woman, however, persists, undaunted, cleverly turning the insult into a renewed request. Even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. To which Jesus responds, "O woman, great is your faith. For saying this you may go, the demon has left your child." The woman went home and found her child healed. And then Jesus journeys on through Sidon and the Decapolis, continuing his tour among the heathen. Once again, Jesus' reputation travels faster than he does, and they bring a deaf man who has a speech impediment to Jesus, begging him to lay hands on him. Who are they? Gentiles? Perhaps of Syrian or Greek origin this time? Probably. He's in the Decapolis after all. Are they members of the man's family, his friends or neighbors? Maybe, most likely. They too cross the boundaries of tribe and religion to reach out to Jesus. This time, the disciples are silent. This time, there are no insults. I wonder if they got it the first time. Maybe. Jesus takes the man aside in private, touches his ears, spits, touches the man's tongue, looks up to heaven, sighs, utters the word Ephatha, which means be opened, and voila, the man can hear and speak again. And they are so happy and excited, they run around telling everyone what Jesus has done, even though he has expressly told them not to do that. But they cannot contain themselves. This morning, I present to you the Syro-Phoenician woman and they as exemplars of hope. In her book, Daring Greatly, Brené Brown writes in bold print, "Hope is a function of struggle." She admits that at one time she thought of hope as a warm, fuzzy emotion, the feeling of possibility. But in her research, Brown discovered that hope isn't an emotion. Rather, it's a way of thinking. Hope, she says, is learned or not in family, school, work, and play with others. Hope is a thought process that combines setting realistic goals, keyword, realistic, having the tenacity and perseverance to pursue the goal, and believing, I can do this. I can accomplish this. Hope involves developing a tolerance for disappointment and a willingness to try again. A mindset of hope recognizes that while some things that we want to do will be fun, fast, and easy, many will be difficult, time-consuming, and no fun at all. Hope is learned as we struggle with the tough stuff and get through it. The Syro-Phoenician woman has a goal: to find healing for her sick daughter. We have no idea how many healers she has tried. Caring for a sick child, as many of you know, is a struggle. How much greater is that struggle when it seems that the child will never ever get well? But then she hears that Jesus is in town, and she's determined to try again. Courageously and audaciously, she reaches out across the barriers of ethnicity, religion, and gender difference to appeal to Jesus. She persists in the face of the contempt of Jesus' disciples. She persists even when she hears their disdain expressed by Jesus in hurtful words. And she responds not with anger and outrage, but with a clever comeback, hoping, trusting, confident that Jesus' compassion and mercy are greater than the prejudice and bigotry of his disciples. They, the family and friends of the deaf man, also have a goal: to find a remedy for this poor man's hearing loss and speech impediment. We don't know how long this man had these ailments. Perhaps he was born with these deficits, or more likely, they were the result of injury or illness. Not only has his life become a struggle, his life together with them is a struggle. They not only yearn for his restoration to wholeness, they are determined to find a way to make it happen. And they too courageously reach out across the barriers of tribe and religion to a foreign healer whose reputation precedes him, hoping, trusting, confident that Jesus' compassion and mercy will include all the disabled, regardless of tribe or religion. Can you imagine the courage, the audacity of someone who leaves Congo, travels to South America, walks from South America to get to the United States, hoping for a better life? I'm floored by that kind of hope, that kind of courage. Brené Brown describes hope as this nexus of realistic goal setting and self-confidence, together with persistence and tenacity. But how do we struggle hopefully with things that are beyond our control? We live in a broken world where the integrity of the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat can be and often is compromised. We live in a broken world where weeds and pests often seem to flourish more abundantly than crops and herds, where wildfires and floods destroy faster than we can rebuild. And our bodies and minds are susceptible to illness and injury and the inevitable and unavoidable processes of aging and dying. Our biblical role models show us an additional dimension of hope: faith, trust, and confidence in a God who is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. In the midst of their struggles, the Syro-Phoenician woman and they recognize Jesus as one sent and empowered by this God of grace, mercy, and love. They hope and trust and are confident that he will do something good, something beneficial for the sick child and the disabled man, regardless of their tribe, their ethnicity, their religion, or gender. Jesus shows us in today's gospel lesson that their hope, trust, and confidence are not in vain. Scripture says that this hope, this living, daring confidence in God's grace, mercy, and love is an anchor for the soul firm and secure. And we all know Christ will not protect us or shield us from the struggles of life, but Christ does promise to be with us in the midst of them. This idea is beautifully captured in a poem by Emily Dickinson, and you've probably heard it before. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Amen. I invite you to stand as you are able for our hymn of the day.